Welcome to the Urban Cowgirl Show. Well, we're almost starting over because it's been so long since we last did this. We are continuing to try to get pairs harness work accomplished with Eve and her daughter Sadie safely so that we can farm with them. But it's been so long since we've even harnessed them that today, for our one tiny baby step, we're harnessing them. And Sarah, who is experienced in ground driving, is going to show Sam how to ground drive, first with Eve, the mother, and then, if all goes well, with Sadie. We're just going to leave Sadie tied up here and hope that she doesn't get stressed. Now you see her back left leg is cocked. Her ears are listening. She's kind of looking around, and she's got her blinders on, which is hard for anybody. Okay, now she sees that her mom's moving around. Don't go too far. She's aware that you're moving, Eve. And Sarah is going to just ground drive Eve for a few steps, a few moments. And then we'll see if we can do the same with Sadie. Not together, not with the cross-check reins, but with all of the straps necessary to do farming with this pair of Morgan mares. Ultimately, and it may take years more, we want them to be able to pull farm implements and especially a forecart so that I can be sitting in the forecart when we're pulling those implements doing farming with Eve and Sadie. I'm going to stay here in the shade. I'm going to use my zoom button. And Sadie, she knows me very well. I was there when she was born. I trained her every step of the way. She's kind of watching me. Her ears are going back. She knows something's happening back there, but they're not laying flat back. They're just turning. See, these are body language signs we're looking for. Is she going to stay? Is she going to stay stress-free here, tied to this railroad tie? In a tie ring, but not in a blocker tie ring, which means if she pulls back, we could be in trouble. But we don't have that much help this summer. So we're trying to do this training with the three of us as safely as we can. I do have a blocker tie ring or a clip somewhere. I'm going to make sure we hang that on that railroad tie if we have to tie a horse in the future there. We don't want sit back. We don't want pull back. We'd rather have them just get loose, even if they run around here, as long as there aren't a bunch of straps hanging down, because that spooks them even more. And here is about a half-acre pasture completely enclosed with vinyl fencing. Now you see Sam is getting to know Eve. Now Eve is my best harness horse, but this is, a big place. It's an urban rural setting. There's all kinds of distractions here, both by sound, by sight, and the fact that it's big rather than small like my arena or medium-sized like my arena. You guys, if you just go around in both directions once or twice, staying nearby here, Sadie is looking better. Now she wants to know. She wants to know what's happening behind her. She's aware of it. But she doesn't have a clip. She's not tied to a clip. Okay, I would say let's take Eve back to her tie ring. And we've just got a piece of PVC as our arm extension, a long skinny one, so it's easy to hold on to. We keep it here close to our gate where we go across the street. I'm looking down the corridor between fence rails here. We keep it there in case all of a sudden something happens on this street when we're taking the horses across to their home base. I will try never again to buy property that has a street between pastures. It's too scary, no matter how good your horses are, because you never know what's coming down the street, including yard waste bins and motorcycles and screaming kids on a bicycle. And in fact, across the street there's a pool being built, and there's all kinds of heavy equipment there that makes a lot of noise during the week. Okay, if you do the same with Sadie and can gain trust that she understands what you want from her by going both directions. I'll keep an eye on Eve. I think she's okay based on her body language. She's beyond Sadie there. Okay, now we've got the harness on, the pairs harness on. We're putting the drive lines on. They are leather drive lines, but not real heavy or thick or wide. And they are not our cross-check reins. Boy, when we get back to cross-check reins and tug straps, you'll see how complicated this effort is. Nevertheless, besides ranch horse versatility, or within ranch horse versatility, I want my mares to be able to pull implements or logs or whatever it takes to keep our ranch in good order, especially if we get a place with more acreage, adequate irrigation water, and can plant some hay, and especially Timothy hay. That's what we want to plant here or wherever we live. Okay?
Okay, we're going to back.
And you see we have the lead line. We have Sam doing a little bit of give and take with the lead line.
So just make sure you're out of the way. Step up, Ha.
Ha is left.
Girl.
Evie's a little bit upset.
Step up, G.
It's all right, Eve. It's all right, Eve. Now, if Sadie gets away from us, that could be really dangerous because Eve would be tied hard and fast without a ring, without a clip or a blocker tie ring, and that wouldn't be good. But boy, I wish we had at least one other person, and we don't, and may not have it at all this summer. She's looking good. That's Sadie the youngster. As she gets close to Eve, Eve is trying to look through or beyond her blinders. Good, because she hears, she senses. Whenever you feel that you've gotten good answers from Sadie, let's stop on a good note. What we consider our moment of resolution today, which is one tiny baby step towards getting back to pairs training, using our tools, our simulated tools, like our training harness pole, our simulated inexpensive forecart. We don't have a forecart yet that can go with a pair of horses, though. Those are very expensive, and I'm watching the used market all the time. Good, good.
Girl. Oh.
Good. Little bit of stress, you see. I'm not seeing... Okay, okay, now while she takes those, I would take a holder first,
Okay.
while Sarah takes the drive lines off.
Want me to take them off on this side?
Yeah, and you can help. If that were a blocker tie ring or a clip, I'd say, okay, you can tie, but it isn't. It's been a while since we've done this, so we're going to bring them over here. I have many at my other barn.
Do you want us to walk them next to each other?
That would be great. As Sarah suggested, for this idea of pairs, let's just walk them with lead line next to each other. How about if we let Sam do Eve and you do Sadie?
Okay.
Just because Sadie has less experience doesn't mean that Eve won't get stressed. She might. Eventually, they'll be willing to go together in parallel but it could take years more.
Back. 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 Back.
It's hard when they've got blinders on to use visual blocks. You have to remember that they've got blinders on. Good. Now just the same circles maybe if you can. They are mother and daughter. I've never seen them try to kick each other or be alpha with each other. But they maybe don't know that their job is, in pairs, to stay together. Whether in harness, whether in lead line only, whether in saddle. If you watch the cowgirl chicks on RFD TV, they do some amazing things with up to 5 horses abreast. Because those horses understand that they need to stay together. Yeah, see, even Sadie don't know that they have to stay together. So we're going to apply pressure when they're not together. There. Sadie's getting pressure. She doesn't want that rope halter tugging on her nose. And we use the word ah, which means no, wrong answer. They don't like that either. See if you can make in either direction one large circle with them in pairs. Do you have any hesitation on trying to do that today? Now you got to realize that when they're in pairs, the inside horse has to go a little slower than the outside horse, or the outside horse has to go a little faster. But that's all part of understanding what is the right answer. Looks good? Looks great. Looks great. Eve is distracted. She's distracted by something way far away over my west fence. Sadie, I'm sure, is going to pick up on that distraction. They learn from each other and listen to each other. That herd instinct. Gosh, we have a long ways to go again. We've been farther than this in the past if you look at my old shows. But we definitely need to take tiny baby steps. It's all right, Evie. It's all right. It's all right. Now, what made her so excited? Hard to say. Hard to say. Just then, car coming behind me. Maybe she heard it from a distance. Okay, now, taking the tack off, you're going to be real careful to think about not pulling anything off that's still attached to anything.
Right.
And try to go in reverse order. The bridle was put on just at the end, just before we put on the drive lines. You see those straps hanging down from the collar, those are going to have tugs connected to them. Yet another set of straps. Notice that the bridle, not only does it have blinders, but it has shank on the bit. It's a broken snaffle in the mouth, but it's not O-ring, it's not D-ring. Good. It's a shank, so the handler has to realize that if you have reins connected to the rings of the bottom of the shank, any slight pull is going to be much more severe in the mouth than if it were an O-ring or a D-ring. So you really have to know what you're doing. Okay, so now Eve is here, and I'm going to very carefully move, and it's going to be sunny, so I hope you're going to be able to see it. Sadie is there. She has her collar off. She has her bridle off. Just last night on community TV was a show broadcasted from about 4 years ago when we first put a harness on Sadie. And it took us about 3 sessions before we could safely, comfortably get the britchin on her. That was really a challenge. But she was fine on it today. We're gonna, and then any problem putting the crooper on? No, okay, the crooper can be challenging too. Okay, here comes the collar from Eve. These collars, in the pairs collars and harness that I got do not have buckles. So you just have to put them over their heads. And we had to train them to accept that too. But I've seen it before on Gentle Giants on RFD TV. They're often used with the draft horses, and they just, the old farmers say, you just have to train them to accept it over their head. And as a matter of fact, it has a wide and a narrow end, so you turn it and put it over their head with the wide end, and then once it's on the neck, turn it with the wide end down and the narrow end on the neck, and it's comfortable on the horses. Well, almost ready. Think about, don't ever pull a strap that's still connected somewhere. You really have to think. Good. Off the hip, slide it off the hip, perfect. And what we have left here, we don't want to let Sadie go yet until we've got Eve unharnessed, untacked, and then we'll let them go together. You don't want one loose and running around and the other one still tied, whether or not you're on a blocker tie ring or on a clip. And definitely you don't want to do that if you've still got harness straps, saddles, and so forth on one horse, but not on the other. Because Sadie knows she's done now. She can tell from everything we've done over these years that the lesson is essentially over. But until we take the lead line from the tie ring and drop the halter off her nose, she's still in the lesson. Okay, now we're going to do the paired release. And they've got the rest of the afternoon. It's finally getting sunny here in Santa Cruz. And it's almost noon, but that's the way it is very often in the summer here. Good. Good. And they love it here. They graze here. They get to graze together because we don't feed anything besides what they can graze on. So they graze together. And we'll let Semi in with them. She's not doing harness work right now because we're only training in pairs. But we are doing freestyle with Semi, and we're going to go all the way up to triples on that. And I'm going to leave the camera on for just a moment to see if Semi chooses to come in here. She kind of stands at the gate saying, why aren't I in there? Let's see if she chooses to come in now that we're opening the gate. There she comes. And she's got her fly mask on. We'll put fly masks on Sadie and Eve, and they get to graze for at least another 4 hours today. And that's very important to me, and that's why I keep my grass green. Well, we are going to spend 10 minutes or so trying to get the cross-check lines, drive lines on Eve and Sadie. It's been so long since we've done it. And we're just going to have to redo things here to make sure that even Sadie will accept the cross-check drive lines. Because when we do pairs driving, they'll have to have them on. And they're pretty complicated. Okay, so Sarah has Sadie on her line. Sam has Eve. Eve was a little bit excitable a moment ago. Looks like she's calmed down. Good. Good, good. Let's see if we can keep her standing. I intend to do this with my horses when I actually farm Timothy hay on a large acreage. But right now, I'm an urban farmer, and I only have small acreage and two wonderful Morgan horses, mother and daughter, that I think will get the idea of what it takes to do work in farming, in pairs, harness, driving and pulling.
You just get her over, tap her on that side.
Sam is kind of new at this. I would say go back around. Go back around, Sam. Read the body language. You're not going to be able to get her to side pass over, although she knows what it's all about. She's just not giving you focus. Keep going around. Try to stop her
Use the
Yeah.
visual block in front of her, like that stick.
Yeah, remember now my horses have their, good. They have their blinders on.
Step up.
Okay. Good. See if you can get her to stand now. This is Eve. She's my best harness horse.
Ho.
Okay, and Sadie's over a little bit. Do you want to walk back out and come back in, Sarah?
Have stick.
That's easier than moving all the body parts.
Back.
Ho. Ho.
Can you give this arm extension to
Hey,
Sam?
Back.
Carefully.
Back.
Tell her you're
Back.
good, good.
Ho.
Back.
Give her, here's an arm extension, just a piece of PVC that I grabbed coming over here.
Ho.
We may not get the cross-check drive lines on today. It's okay.
Back. Okay.
It's been so long. Yeah, line up again. You get a feel for when it's time to just start over.
Step up.
We did some ground driving with Eve and Sadie the other day. Actually, it was a whole week ago. Without the cross checks on, with each having their own pair of drive lines on. Okay, and Shalea, can you come now and try to stay focused on me? I'm Sonia Soklo, the urban cowgirl and farmer. It's all right. It's all right.
Here, bring Sadie around.
No, it's all right. It's all right, Sadie. Watch how I let them know I'm here. There are a lot of straps. It's all right. It's all right. All right. A lot of straps. We have to be careful that they don't get spooked. I'm not even going to connect today, not with the way they're behaving right now. Let me have you do it, and I'll stand at the head.
You want me to talk about it?
Yeah, sure, talk loud. Talk loud to the camera. Can you come a little closer?
So the whole point of having cross-check reins is that if we each had individual reins on the two girls, you would have 4 reins in your hands, 2 different sets. And the point of having cross-check reins is so that you only have 1 pair of reins in your hand. And so what the concept is this outside part of the rein is going to be longer than the inside. And this in my right hand is going to go on Sadie's outer right rein. And this in my left hand is going to go on Eve's inside left side of her head. So that, or sorry, right side. So that when I pull with my right hand, when I want to go right or G, then both the horses' heads are going to get pulled right. And they're going to
Okay,
cued to
let
get
me see
turned
if I
right.
can hold this without spooking her, but we're not connecting. It's too scary to connect at this point. Okay, and then Sam, can you hold that one? We're not too close yet because it's too hard to get close this time. It's all right. It's all right.
Good girl.
Good girls.
And this one is going to be in your left hand, and the shorter one again is on the inside, and it's going Sadie's left inside.
Okay, can you, there. I'll drop them both if they start getting spooky. Remember, we've got streets and trucks and motorcycles coming by from time to time. Okay.
And this left longer piece is going to go on Eve's outside but left side.
It's all right.
So that when I pull left, I would cue the girls to turn left or hop. So
Okay, just stand in the back and show them. Not pulling if you can help it. Okay, all right. What are we doing this for? You need drive lines that are cross-check lines if you're driving in pairs. Why do we want to drive in pairs? Because we want to do farming. We want to do farming with Eve and her daughter Sadie. And we've got maybe years yet of training to do it, to be confident that they're going to be able to pull something as simple as a seed machine, a seed mechanism, because we want to plant a bunch of Timothy hay seed. I'm working very hard on getting some, either leasing or buying some farming land. So I'm going to carefully drop that. Carefully. These are all straps, and look at all the harness straps. Drop that, making sure they don't get hung up in any rings or buckles. Because if they do and one horse spooks and the other one spooks, you could have definitely a dangerous situation. Okay, now let's see, based on how they behaved, it's not even a windy day, if you can walk with them closer together to each other. Use an arm extension in your hand just for visual, a visual block if you need it. Yesterday I was working with Eve on freestyle, and I took, not too close, you're a little bit too close. Okay, now you walk, and Sarah's going to try to walk with you. They need to understand that it's their job to stay together, parallel. Anyway, I was working with Eve on freestyle, and she gave me the wrong answer, and I took the line, the arm extension that Sarah has, and I smacked Eve on her butt with it. And she got all upset and ran to the, what we call the square pen, layup stall. She just wanted to get away, and she said, okay, I'll let you start again now, but she made me go after her because I, of course, couldn't let that be the answer that I accepted. Okay, now walk around as long as you can keep them head on head, tail on tail. Eve is real spooky today. Why? I can't tell you exactly why. I don't see or hear what they're seeing or hearing. Yeah. But if they were hooked up to a farm implement, a forecart, I sure wouldn't want this to happen. So it may take years more of training, and this is probably the most labor-intensive training I've ever done, because we won't do this pairs training unless we have at least 4 people, and I prefer 5. Good, good. And then always, let them think for a few seconds. Don't just keep asking for one command after another. Good girl, good girl. They'll realize, just like when they're jumping, they'll realize, I gotta know where my feet are. They'll realize, I gotta know where my body is if I'm working next to a horse in pairs. And believe me, they pick up on each other. Eve is being real spooky today. And you know what? If we can get them back here and get in to stand together, you know what? That's the moment of resolution we'll have to accept. Always go back to something you know you can do, that they know what they're supposed to do, and stop when you've gotten the right answer. Notice how Sarah is using her arm extension behind her back. Good. Oh, good. Okay, let's see if we can. Yes. Yes. I'm just going to call that our moment of resolution. But we have a long ways to go, and we'll show you every step of the way. See more at www.urbancowgirlchannel.com.